In today's story, I'll be telling you about a person restoring and saving coral reefs. Hello, it's James from the Global Portrait Project, where I'm painting 193 portraits of 193 nationalities, and each person featured is involved in an environmentally positive activity in their country. Today we'll be showing you the picture and telling the story for the subject for country number 15, Barbados.
Barbados is an island country in the West Indies and is the most easterly of the Caribbean islands, with nearby sovereign states starting with D, G, T and 2 S's. The primary environmental concerns in Barbados are reliability of freshwater supply, coastal ecosystem degradation, inadequate waste management, and the risk from natural disasters and climate change. The subject for my portrait for Barbados is Andre Miller, marine scientist, dive centre owner, and master scuba diver trainer. As a child, Andre used to snorkel, and when he first saw a scuba diver, he knew that that was what he wanted to do. He volunteered at a dive shop, and in exchange, shop owner George Hurley certified him as a PADI open water diver when Andre was only 16 years old. Hurley also discussed conservation with Andre and got him interested in the perils facing the oceans, including overfishing and the declining health of coral reefs. Even in my short lifetime, from the time I was 6 until I was 16, I could see the decline of coral reefs I loved as a child, Andre recalls. He started volunteering at a marine science laboratory while still in high school. Andre went to university planning to study medicine, but his heart was in marine science and he switched subjects. After graduation, Andre went to work for the Barbados government as a marine biologist in the Coastal Zone Management Unit. Year after year, he and his colleagues witnessed the decline in both abundance and diversity of fish in the region due to overfishing. Also, dive and snorkel boats routinely dropped anchor on coral reefs, and water pollution was also a problem. Coral were dwindling in both abundance and diversity as reefs were damaged or destroyed. When he was working in government, he was frustrated with the bureaucracy and felt he was only documenting the decline of the oceans and reefs and not doing enough conservation work. He felt the government officials and local people saw the ocean as a place for tourists and had no sense of stewardship. Finally, Andre convinced his boss, Nobel laureate Dr. Leonard Nurse, that the best way to motivate people to protect their reefs was to show them their beauty. Therefore, they needed to get more people diving. The strategy worked, the government got on board, and Andre and his colleagues devised what was then a simple, hands-on way to repair coral reefs damaged by storms or ships. Andre explains, "At the time, no one was doing anything about damaged reefs, so our approach was similar to what we tell emergency first response course participants. If we don't step up to help, there's a 100% mortality rate. Now we average 90% survival rate for transplanted hard coral." Also, nowadays, there is an active ongoing program in Barbados for monitoring and maintaining healthy coral reefs. Coral restoration and transplantation have become our specialties, says Andre. Often we can restore a reef damaged by a boat or hurricane by seeding it with small fragments of coral. If the water quality is good and fish are there to help with the grazing, we can help reefs recover. We have saved tens of thousands of corals throughout the region this way. We also transplant coral when we know it will be adversely impacted by an oncoming storm or an infrastructure project. Right now, we are monitoring one of the largest and most successful coral transplantations in the Caribbean. Before transplantation was an option, the dredger and cranes would just cut through the shallow reefs to make a channel. but now I head a team of scientists who move the threatened corals while submerged, and then we reattach them in a new protected location. We have a 92% survival rate. Andre also brought more stakeholders on board by opening his own PADI dive centre, Barbados Blue Water Sports. He routinely works with children from 2 local primary schools, getting them comfortable in the water, teaching them to swim, and then progressing to basic snorkelling and free diving. Many of the children Andre taught years ago are now adult divers, passing down their love of ocean to their families, with some going off to university to study marine science or ecology. Andre also uses his dive shop as a conduit for conservation activities. They run beach cleanups and often hear from parents that their children instituted recycling at their homes after being involved. Andre states that he sees every diver who leaves his dive centre as an ambassador for change. If you'd like to find out more about Andre and his work, I have put links to his dive centre and an article and video about him in the description below. Final words from Andre. Today, our kids understand that our planet can be hurt by our actions on land, and that our future is in their hands. Hopefully, they will do a better job than we did. There is more information about this painting and how to get involved with the Global Portrait Project on the website and Instagram page, and the links are in the description below. Next time, we'll be meeting someone who has been driving forward the environmental movement in Belarus.